What if the voice in Sad But True isn't another person but you? What if the real enemy isn't out there, it's inside? When James screams I'm you, maybe that's the hardest truth of all. So today we are going to discover why this song is more real than we would like to admit. So before we dive in, please hit like, comment and subscribe. So this is one of my absolute favorites. The heavy guitars, the raw vocals, the famous drum beat from Lars, the angry solo, the power of the live clip. Sad But True for me is awesome, But what really makes it stand out here for me are the lyrics. They are deeper than they first appear, full of tension, mystery and real life connections. That's the reason why we need to find out what's sad but true. You can say whatever you want about Lars, but for me the guy is a genius, The simplicity of the drum beat, but also the way that, build the song, it's amazing. So the songs open with the voice of someone claiming control, always close, always present. It's the one who says, I will guide you, I will take where you need to go. I am the one who really cares. It is the voice that controls your life. And this is true. We are all shaped by voices from inside and outside. The voice from media, from social media, from influences, from music, from a group, games, movies, even from the, supposed intellectual ones. Every voice must be evaluated. The reality is that not every voice that speaks into our life should be trusted. That's the reason why you need to be careful with the voice you are following. Not every voice is truly on your side. They'll betray. I'm your only true friend now. They'll betray. I'm forever there. So the voice pushes for exclusivity, It says don't trust anyone else. Maybe it's shaped by past, wounds, disagreements, betrayals, or pain. The more you listen, the lonelier you become. And a voice that pushes you to loneliness, it's not worthy to be listened. Today, the voice that pushes you to loneliness comes from social media. It won't be silenced. It's there 24/7. There is not even time to reflect, to react. You're scrolling there. And study shows that both passive scrolling and even active posting on social media actually increase loneliness over time. So for me, followers don't mean true friendship. Social media activity doesn't mean healthy relationships. You can be extremely connected and still alone. I'm your dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you must steal. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your dream, I'm the stray. I'm your eyes while you're away. I'm your pain while you replay. You know it's sad but true. What is sad but true for me is sometimes you want to do what is right, but you end up doing the very thing that you don't want it. You hate. The good you wish to do, you can't. The bad you don't want, that's what's take over, This is sad but true. Sad but true. You're my mask, you're my cover, my shelter. You're my mask, you're the one who's blamed. So So now the voice begins to use you, it pushes you to act, but never takes responsibility. You will start to carry the guilt. In this part of the song, you are driven into evil, into bad decisions, into shame. The voice plans, you perform. The voice pushes, you take the blame. And here's the truth. It doesn't matter who the voice is. The blame is always yours. Do my work, do my dirty work, scapegoat. Do my deeds, but you're the one who's blamed. So things are getting darker. The more you listen to the voice, the more you obey, the more you give in, the deeper the trouble. And as a teenager, this hits hard. You start following the group, doing things just because of the voices around you. And the voices can be real or virtual, The virtual world, it's, for me, a place of many voices. For example, a game such as Roblox. We don't know what kind of voices are there. Thousands of people saying many things. Children talking to adults, while playing games on the platform. As a father of 3, this brings a lot of concern to me. In my past, it was just the TV, friends, at school or family. But today there are so many voices that it becomes harder for someone growing. And those voices are shaping the growth of many teenagers. However, as we grow older, those voices don't disappear, just change. It's just a different appeal, They are still there, trying to shape our identity, to define what success, what failure is, what's good, what's bad, not just for you, but even for your family. Let's use the example of social media again. When you see the image of perfect families, the image of successful people, standards of beauty, healthy, money, a voice inside starts to trigger some feelings such as depression, sadness, anxiety, stress. And research confirms that heavy social media use, is linked to a decline of happiness among both adults and young people. For me, it's the myth of the greener garden. Someone else is always doing better. I'm your dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you must steal. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your dream, my industry. I'm your eyes while you're here. I'm your pain while you repay. It's sad but true. So the voice is too close, too constant, too present. It starts with a voice inside you. The voice pulls you and tempts you. And when you give in, it turns into a wrong decision. And that wrong decision, in the end, brings consequences to you. Sad but true. Mr. Newsted's backing vocal here is amazing also, right? So here you see the prime Kirk Hammett, the prime Jason Newsted, James Hetfield, you don't even need to talk about. So the song is full of heaviness, rage, and this reflects, this inner voice inside of you. hey, when you unload, pay the price, pay for nothing's fair. So now it feels like the voice has full control. Even when you want love to rise, hate take its place. And we see this in marriages, families, between parents and children, even between brothers and sisters, The very person closest to you, the object of your love, can suddenly become the object of your hate. This voice inside that you have listening now becomes the source of your actions. And now you are paying the price. We need to remember every voice followed carries a cost. Hey, I'm your life. I'm the one who took you there. Hey, I'm your life and I no longer care. So now the voice has taken you to a difficult place and now no longer cares. And James captures this, The lyrics begins with I am the one who cares, but end with I no longer care. The choices are yours, and the consequences also are yours. And here is where often we start to defend ourselves, justifications such as it wasn't me, it was because of him, or the circumstances, I had no responsibility. This is not true. Most of the time, it's our responsibility. And I remember, a series called Breaking Bad. There is a key dialogue between Walter White and Skyler White, I think in the end of the series, season 5, I think. For the whole series, Walt kept insisting that he did everything for the family. But in that final moment, he finally admits the truth. He says, I did it for me. I like it. I was good at it. Because I wanted to. In the end, we need to admit that we have chosen to follow the voice, outside or inside. I dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you must steal. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your truth, telling lies. I'm your reason, alibis. I'm inside, open your eyes. I'm yours. The scream of James is just the conclusion of the song. The truth is, the most powerful voice comes from inside. The end of the song reveals what is said but true. You don't have excuses. This voice was always yours. It's the voice of our own heart. And Jesus speaks about, this inner voice in Matthew chapter 15, 19. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, false testimony, slander, blasphemy. Jesus opened our eyes to this sad but true reality. The real problem is not outside of us, It's within us. It's, our sinful nature that echoes into our actions. It's the reason why hate rises instead of love, why sadness takes over instead of joy, why envy replaces gratitude, why violence instead of kindness, harsh words instead of encouraging words. And I think the first step to change is open your eyes, like the song says, it's you, it's your responsibility. However, there is hope. Jesus can transform your heart from the inside to outside. That's the source of your voice, the bad choices, the confusion. It's your heart. Jesus invites you to listen to his voice. And as I said in the React and Reflect of Metallica's song Devil's Dance, truth is a person. And if truth is a person, everything that comes from this person is true. So you can trust his voice. Jesus said, I am the truth. Jesus is the one that you can trust. Jesus doesn't manipulate us. Jesus doesn't make us the scapegoat. Jesus doesn't push us to pay the price. Instead, he carried the price himself. He was the scapegoat in the cross. 1 Peter chapter 2:24 says, he himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, so that we might die to sins and live to righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed. Jesus went to the cross to be the voice you can trust. We are sinners, and it's sad but true. However, with Jesus, we are sinners but saved, and this inside voice now has changed, and this is also true. Sad but true. So if this video made you think, hit like, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next song.